sent you that email with the link to the file. The nice thing about this tool is that you only have to get that link once, and then it'll automatically download any new versions as you go along as you're doing stores. So, oops, there we go. So the file is being stored on our AM Docs website, and it's specifically the Albertsons one. If you don't have any experience with this, you might have to, when the first time you navigate to it, it might ask you to like request access or something. One of our admins will accept it, and then you'll have access to this. So right now I'm actually just on the active projects tab over here, and I'm going to go to Albertsons here. And then that'll be the link that I sent you, and that'll be sent out to each feature PM. That'll automatically take you here. You'll see that there's a folder called ACgo file.
Yep.
And click on that. And there's actually, this one is the old one, but the cool thing is that you can download this and it'll automatically update with the new one. So to download the file, all you have to do is just click on it and click on it again. You'll see it open up in a new tab, and then it'll ask you to download, and you're just going to click download there. I'm going to do it just to show you. You want to make sure that it goes through this here, that it actually shows the file downloading, and it goes like through the entire thing. Otherwise, it could accidentally download an empty file. Then you're just going to click open in. This is the tricky part, because if you have more than one FileMaker Go on your iPad, you can't really see them. But the one that has, the one that has the ... is because that's the FileMaker Go 18. So you're going to click on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you can go ahead and do that. I already have the file on my iPad, but you know what, I might just do it anyways. So it should automatically open up, and actually what it does is, you see this URL data transfer here. What's actually happening is, because it's the old version, it's going to download the new version from online and then replace that old one. So it'll give me a little notice here. And so I downloaded version 1, and it's giving me an error, but that's okay. Just ignore that for now.
Okay.
I'll fix
yeah,
that.
I just saw that too. Okay.
Yeah. And then it says updated, and it gives you the version notes. So as we move along, some of these might not make sense to you right now, but hopefully as you move along, there'll be more and more bug updates. Okay, so now this is like a typical ACgo file. So all you're going to do is just enter your email. And you're going to select the building from the project client list. Hopefully this part will be automated, so you don't have to go and search Albertsons every single time. Once you've done that, make sure your assessment date is correct. I'm going to change that to, maybe I'll say tomorrow. And then the type is an FCA, and then you click Create Project. And click OK. So what this is going to do is, just like a typical ACgo file, it saves that blank file on your iPad, and then it creates this new one. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I just got it actually. I clicked on project client name and nothing popped up, but now it did.
Okay.
It just took a long time to load.
Yeah, as we add more and more projects, the list gets longer and longer. But just to kind of show you here, so this is the new layout of FileMaker Go 18. I have mine in dark mode, but it should look pretty similar. So right now we are actually in My Apps. So this is kind of like the, this is all of the apps here. There's a recent file, there's favorites, and then there's hosts. So if I scroll down here, you'll see I actually don't have ACgo Albertsons version 1 anymore. And you won't either, because what it does is it's going to delete the old blank file and then save the new one, the most updated one here. And then you can see I have, these are the Albertsons ones. This is the one I created today, 2020-09-29 here. So I'll just open that back up. So once we get to this home screen, you can add the site that you're going to visit as you typically would. I'm going to just pick a random one. Actually, I'm going to pick this test site just so I can show you the upload process. I'm not messing up any data. One thing you'll notice is if you go to click add again, it's actually going to limit you to one building per file. Okay. Yeah, that's because these can get, as we have more and more photos in there and stuff, the files can get really bloated. So we don't want people accessing more than one building in each file. And we're also going to be uploading these buildings or these files at the end. So it's kind of hard to move them around when they're really big. Oops, I accidentally clicked close file. It's okay. Okay, so this is my one building. If you select the wrong building, you can still change it. So now I'm going to click open. It's going to take me to my all asset screen. So one thing that is happening that didn't happen with this, this test file, is that it actually on ACgo, we have a couple things being saved. We have the year built, the year renovated, and the total square footage. And those, if you selected a real building, those would actually be pulled down from ACgo into the app so that you could use that information. Because that's one of the things we're asking for people to come up with is like the age of items. So knowing those numbers will be helpful. Okay, and you'll see that you're going to have a full list of assets. So Albertson has given us a list of about 260, so 200 unique assets, 260 assets total with the different locations and such that they think is typical for each store. So not all of these items might be at your store, and some of these items are definitely going to be duplicated at your store. But they wanted us to start with this template to help consistency as people move along. So you'll see you're going to have about 260 assets. And as they first come in, it'll probably take you all the way to the bottom to the last asset you added. But you can see that these gray bars here, these are locations. So this is a location that Albertsons uses in their CMMS software, so their tracking software. So these are the locations that we have to use. They can kind of be a little bit annoying, especially since they're all caps and stuff, but it's really helpful as you're walking around a store because then you know what you're looking for while you're in the back room, what you're looking for while you're in the bakery. So I'm just going to scroll to the top of this list just to be up there. Okay, so just going from left to right on the screen, this is like a very pared down FCA, so we're getting less data points. So what you see on the screen is pretty much all we're getting. So left to right, you start with the overview photo, right? A good overview. And all of these photos are pretty high resolution. So a good overview photo. The next photo is the data plate only, and that's super, super strict because what we're doing is instead of the assessors getting make, model, serial in the field, we're sending this to a third party. They have software and they have a team of people that are gonna look through all the data plates and pull out the make, model, serial. So it's really important that that data plate photo here be the data plate. I know sometimes you might have to take like more than one photo to get data plate information. We want you to take just the one photo, get as good and close a clear shot of the data plate. And let's say the make isn't written on it or something, we want you to just type that in separately.
Okay.
Instead of trying to take a couple photos to get the whole data plate, yeah. So just one photo as clear as you can. I know things like water heaters and stuff, sometimes it won't say the name on there. So just type in the make separately. The third photo here is just the tag. This photo is actually, like if it has a tag on there, you feel free to take a picture of it. You can also just use it as an extra photo. If you click here, you'll see that all of your photos are going to pop up. The overview, the data plate, and then extra photos. So when you're training on site in the field, you'll see they'll tell you, like for walk-in coolers, they want you to take extra photos of different specific elements and stuff. So they'll tell you about that. There's also right next to this picture button, there is a comments button. So these are just internal comments. They're just going to go to the TRR when they're reviewing it. And there's a couple buttons there, like decommissioned or not accessible. It just overwrites it if you just wanted to take a quick note. The next thing is the item name itself. So again, these are all of Albertsons names. This is the typical name that they came up with. And then right here is like a model type. And this is very important because that goes to their software. So we really don't want to be editing these names at all. If we do, it's going to be for very specific scenarios, actually one scenario, and I'll go over that. But we want to keep this pretty much consistent. If you have accidentally taken photos of a specific asset and then you say, oh, it's not an exhaust fan, it's an exhaust hood. What you can do is you just click on this little pencil icon and it'll let you select from the whole cost library.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's important because it's going to bring over that model. That model name. So if I type in exhaust, I say, oh, it's actually exhaust hood. I click select. You'll see it'll change here to hood-EQ as well.
Okay.
Yep. The next thing that you'll be collecting is the location. So typically you're going to be walking around copying these assets. You won't have to mess with location much. But if you do, it actually pulls up a full screen. It pulls up, these are the recommended locations, and these are all of the locations. So if you have an exhaust hood, typically that's not going to be in a restroom. It's typically going to be in this bakery or deli HVAC area. However, if I change this back to exhaust fan, these are all the places that they're saying is likely to have an exhaust fan. And you'll see restroom is in there, yeah. So this is just what they recommend the locations are. If you need, the full list is here. These are all the locations. It does let you add a location description at the bottom, but that's like really not recommended. They do not think that there's going to be any extra locations besides what they've provided us. Okay, so those, the item name and the location are going to be pre-filled. You might have to edit it here and there. The things that we're looking to assess in the field are one, the condition. And the condition is just your excellent, good, fair, poor, failed. And then we want you to come up with an effective age for that condition. So if you can see as part of the effective age in the little corner, this is actually the estimated life of the item. So if you are saying something is failed, it's actually going to put the age as the very end of the estimated useful life. If you're saying something is poor, it's going to put it out 2 years. However, if you're saying something is fair or good or whatnot, you need to provide an age here.
Okay.
Hold on one second. Just noticed something I want to change. Okay. You need to provide an age here. And so we're not looking just for, middle of the road. We want you to, kind of be smart about this. Rely on the year renovated here and the year built. So let me just put something in here real quick. And there's actually a pop-up here that lets you have a little bit more control over these fields here. So this one right here under inventory. So if I click on there, you'll see that make, model, serial, and barcode are shown in case you need to fill them out. But this age is right here, and it actually lets you use these buttons to autofill. If you know all of the HVAC was done when it was renovated, well, then it's really easy. You just click 2015 here, and it puts 5 there. Yeah, and then you just have to change the condition. And I'll get back to that popover in a second. But the other thing is barcode. So we are barcoding everything. You're going to get a stack of very expensive barcodes. They actually have QR codes on them. I don't have one by me right now, but they are going to, all you're going to do is you're going to take out the barcode, you're going to put it on there, you're going to scan it in. So I do have some fake barcodes I can scan. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to scan in a fake barcode on my app right now. And all you have to do is just click on the barcode area itself. It'll pop open the camera, and then it'll scan in the barcode, and it'll immediately pop open this little popover is what we call. And what you're going to do is we want you to take a photo as well of the barcode. So all I'm going to do is just click on that area. That's a gummy stone first, a pair of skis. So I'm just going to click on that, and then if I click on this barcode area again, it'll show me I have my photo. We want a photo to kind of, and you can even step back a little bit. We want it so that the client sees where the barcode was put. There's going to be specific instructions. Some of them actually might start showing up inside the app itself, but there are like training documents that you'll be provided before you go on site that'll talk about where to put the barcodes because they have specific places. Okay, and then if you need to, you can rescan the barcode, etc. There's an extra button here, and you'll see this exhaust fan is already tagged, which means it says auto set duplicate tag needed. Let me just scroll down. You'll see a couple of these items are automatically flagged as this. What that means is that if there is an item that is difficult for the manager of the store to reach, we are going to provide them with an extra barcode, the same exact barcode, but like on a sheet, so that they don't have to like climb up on the roof and scan the exhaust fan. Yeah. The same thing goes for anything that like heaters, unit heaters that are up in the corner, stuff like that. Sometimes you might also be like, if there's something you can't reach, you're going to scan your barcode and then you're going to throw it away. You're going to crump it up, put it in your pocket because we don't want to be throwing away on site. And then you're going to tag it as duplicate barcode needed because we can't reach it, but you're going to get a barcode printed out on a sheet of paper later so that you can scan it in. So that's what that tag is. Some items are automatically tagged. If you come across something that you need to, like an ice maker, I don't know why you'd need that, but if you come across something, let me scan in the new barcode. There's some chapstick. Then you can use this needs duplicate tag right here, and then you can flag it as it needs another one. But most of them should automatically be flagged, but you'll probably be doing that. Okay. And then we went over this inventory pop over here. You'll be able to see your photos if you had taken any photos. Like I said, we're having a third party do make, model, and serial. So the only time that you're going to be messing with these is if you can't get a clear photo of it. Or if there's like an issue or something, you can say no tag plate found or illegible or something. So usually you're going to be just leaving those blank. And then the last button here, if you click on this just lets you copy assets. You can delete them. And then there's an extra feature. It's just called Mark as Complete. It's just a check for yourself if you wanted to mark ones that you had fully completed or not. The only thing is that there's only like 5 fields you need to do, so the button's not as helpful, but you can use it if you want to. And I think that is everything for the asset screen. Do you have any questions specifically about this stuff here?
No, I mean, it looks confusing, just like the screen itself, but you went through each thing and it does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Practice.
Yeah. We're trying to fit a lot on one screen. But hopefully it makes your life a little easier having it all there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go over some of the other features on the screen. At the top here, you can see that you have the names of all of the items. So you can actually sort by all of these headers here. So if you, right now it's sorted by location, but if you click on item name, you can sort by the item name. And it goes to the item I was on, but it just sorts like that. You can sort by the number of photos you have. You can sort by the barcode. So if you sort by the barcode going down, you'll see like these will all show up as no barcode. That's a great check at the end.
Yeah.
Um,
Make sure you didn't miss anything.
yeah, the most helpful one people find is using the location, because it is like, oh, front end. Okay, let me get the front end items, etc., etc. And then at the top here, there's also search by asset name. So if I wanted to do display case or something, it gives me all the display cases. One thing we didn't get to yet is that some of the items they have are called vendor items. So it is a vendor has brought it into the store, and they have different rules for those vendor items. So you'll see at the very top here, anything that has this little Pepsi logo and says vendor on it, it's a vendor item. All you need for that is a photo and then a barcode. We don't have to do anything else for those items. So that's kind of nice. And another thing is sometimes, like you'll see Coca-Cola, 7-Up, Pepsi, Red Bull. If you come across a vendor item that is a different brand or something, like, I don't know, Dr. Pepper, this might already exist. But if you come across something, you can just type it in here. This is that one situation where you can change the name, and that's because it's just going to fall under this vendor supplied equipment. So you can just change that there and then take your picture.
Okay.
And that'll be all fine, yeah. So I have a sorted by display. Just gonna exit that out, and you'll see it'll all sort again. Sorted by location, go. And then if you need to add an asset anew, which you shouldn't have to, there's an add asset button here. It lets you pick from your list of costs. These are provided by Albertsons. So you could select a beer walk-in, it gets added, you pick the location, liquor, and then that'll be in there. Although of course it resorted, so now I can't find it. But it's good why we're doing these trainings, because I catch little things that need to be fixed. But anyway, so there's the add asset button. Typically what people are finding is they're just mostly doing a lot of copying. So you can see that just copies right over, because a lot of times you're going to have more than one of these items in each area. So you just copy it and then fill everything out, and then you're all good. It does tell you what it was copied from. So it says fryer pressure. Okay, now there's also buttons up here at the top. And going over those real quick, there's a help button, tells you what everything is. It's a quick check for you. If you need any, if you're confused of what the symbols mean, there's also at the bottom, this takes you right to the online help documents, so that you have reference to those. There's the checklist. So this is I'll go over that in a second. That's the other half of this assessment. There's calculator, there's a notes field. These are internal notes if you need to take any notes about anything. And then there's a QA button here that is really important because it does a QA check of all of your data. So it tells you if you're missing stuff from your checklist, which I'll go over in a second. And then it also tells you all the items that don't have a barcode. So this is kind of great to go over when you're at the end of your assessment. This QA check will run again when you go to upload, but you might have 5 assets in there, like, oh, I forgot to scan these, or oh, they don't exist. There is another button here called cleanup. Now what this is for, while you're on site, you're probably going to be in teams of 2, which means you're only going to be assessing half the store. Okay. So that means that all of these, you're going to have 100 assets that you didn't look at, but your partner looked at. So what you can do is when you're ready, you can click cleanup. And what it's going to do is it's going to delete any of the assets that you haven't touched yet. So if I click OK, and by haven't touched, I mean haven't changed anything. So these are the 5 assets that I edited in some way or another. I took a picture, I added a barcode, whatever. So that's something that you can run at the end to double check. And then if I click the QA, you'll see that my barcode list has now dramatically decreased. It's only the 3 items. So that's a good thing to do at the end of the day. And yep.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing this in a pair and I do half the stuff and the other person does half the stuff, if one of us missed something and we did cleanup, wouldn't that get deleted?
Yeah. So before you clean up, I would suggest just kind of scrolling through everything or clicking the QA button and making sure that everything that shows up, you definitely didn't. Like, it just wasn't there.
Okay.
But typically what's going to happen is when you're breaking up your store, you're going to break it up into areas.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So like one person.
Sure.
Yeah. It definitely, I mean, things definitely get missed. And we're trying to be more consistent about that. But hopefully, like, whoever's getting the back of house and whoever's getting the roof, like, hopefully they'll be delineated enough.
Okay.
That you can gather everything. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. The other part of this assessment is doing a checklist. And the checklist doesn't have anything to do with assets. But what happens is when you and your partner get on site, one person is going to do the checklist for that store while the other person starts collecting assets. So the checklist is located up here at the top, and it's broken into 6 sections. So there's parking, roof, lighting, restrooms, interiors, and exteriors. Whoever's training you on site will go over more of like what the questions are, but they're almost like a more in-depth look into specific assets. So rather than inventorying the asset, we're going to ask questions about it. So customer parking lot, most of these are simple. They do ask about pavement issues. If you don't have an issue, you can put NA. You kind of have to fill that out because it's going to do a check at the end to make sure you filled out everything, right? But if there are issues, you can start selecting things. And what it does is it actually takes points off. So it lowers the score of the parking lot. Okay. And most of them, like this asks for your opinion, like what do you think the remaining useful life is? And then condition of different things. And you'll see it'll keep reducing the score. The parking includes a bunch of different things. The roof, pretty typical. There's some roof safety questions that they want to know about. You'll see some of these like do and don't change the rating. Like the roof slope isn't going to change the rating of the roof, but neither is the roof material. But if there's issues, like this starts taking points off. And then all of a sudden, you're at 38%. So yeah, the person on site will go over this with you. The other thing that you need to do, in addition to answering questions, is you need to take some pictures. So on your right-hand side here, there's a notes field. That's just internal notes for yourself. But there's a camera button. You're just going to click that. Use photo. And then these are your photos for your overall parking. These are going to be shown to the client. The client gets a nice, pretty checklist printout of this.
So then for like roof, would you have to, when you're doing the checklist, go up to the roof and take the pictures then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So the person doing the checklist actually has to go through the store and do some stuff, then fill out their sections, or?
I would say like, I mean, they can fill this out while they're doing the rest of their work, but I say like whoever, especially since we're doing these, this is like, it's not third shift, but it's like 3 p.m. to midnight or something. I would definitely suggest one person, like they go and get on the roof and get the equipment on the roof and start the checklist, so that you can get photos in daylight.
Right.
Yeah. So they'll have to go up there and get these. Same thing for the parking. They might want to do parking next. There is a way to add another roof here. If you have, it asks you your roof location, and there's several roof locations. So if you have another type of roof, you want to add that. And And that's just this button right there, which I accidentally just clicked. But you'll see roof 2 will show up here. You can delete it if you need to. Interior lighting, this is pretty important. A lot of the stores have been upgraded to LEDs, but they still look like they're like long tubes, right? They're like the plug-in ones. So from standing at the bottom of the store, it's kind of difficult to tell if they're LEDs or linear fluorescent. So that's something we're putting together some more documents for. But you can definitely ask the store person and just kind of like, you know, if it's bright light and if it's in the back room or something, just try and do a good job with that, because that's been something they've been noticing some issues with. Yep. And then restrooms, very general questions. Same for interiors and exteriors. Some of the questions you might have to ask the manager if anyone's there when you get there. If not, it's your best judgment. You'll get the feel of it as you go along. Yeah. Any questions on the checklist?
No, not really.
Okay, yeah. Pretty
I guess just the one question is one person doing the checklist, is that just to make sure they cover everything, or does it only show up on one person's thing? Like, I guess just the question is like, why is there only one person doing the checklist? Is it just because it doesn't, like, you can't do the same thing like clean up where you do half of it and half of it. Someone has to do the whole thing.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. You're creating like one document from it, so gotcha. It's kind of hard to like merge different parts of the document. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So one person will be handling this part.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So once you're done with your assessment, and you can click your QA button and double check everything, what you're going to do is you're just going to click the hamburger button in the upper left-hand corner and go to ACgo Connect. And you're going to upload like you would any other project. Let me just double check that I don't have anything in this file that I'm okay to upload to it. Because then I can upload and just show you what that process looks like. Actually, I'm going to connect this to a different folder real quick. You'll actually see here that this actually pulled in the information from ACgo. So when I go to upload, just click upload. It's going to run the same QA check here. And it's going to tell you, like, warn you about everything. And so look over the errors. Some of them, like, it's okay if you collect less than 250 because you're in a team. But if you're alone, you should have over 250 assets. And then just make sure you don't have anything that doesn't have a barcode, because every single thing should have a barcode. Okay. However, if you look over and everything else you know is okay, you can click upload. And the first thing it's going to do is upload the data. You can click continue on that. The next thing it's going to do is upload the photos. And then the last thing it's going to do is it'll automatically upload the checklist for you as well. So you don't have to worry about doing that. And then ready to upload checklist, just click continue. It's going to generate it. It actually generates. I'll show you what it looks like. It's actually pretty. You just click OK. Okay. And then you're all done. It's going to run through this last little data transfer, and it's just what it does is it emails the team, and emails Lowell and Logan and myself to let us know that you uploaded. And then it also is going to log it online so that we know what you uploaded and all that jazz. And that's actually it. You don't have to do anything in ACgo. Everything's done through ACgo. Once you're done with this file or done with this one assessment, all you have to do is click exit, and then go back to this blank file here, and then start all over again.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so do you have any questions about this?
Not particularly. I guess, like you said, I'd probably be going out in a pair to train at first, and I'll figure out any of the things that are. Because I don't think anything's really unclear from this. It's just I'm probably going to be in a situation where I'm like looking at something and I'm like, what am I supposed to do in this situation? But I mean,
Yeah.
like the barcode, the tags, everything, it makes sense. The data plates makes sense.
Yeah. I think the hardest thing with this scope is understanding what everything is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that are named really weird. Actually, if you look at this restore button I have here, these are all the assets I deleted, and you can restore them. So, like, what is conveyor equipment? Well, that's actually this conveyor thing that they have in the back of the store to like move boxes and stuff. So a lot of that stuff will be questions for the person that's training you. Also, this is not in this app currently, but what is going to happen is that when you click on this item, you'll actually be able to see a picture of it. So this is the next version of the app. It'll tell you, hey, this is what conveyor equipment looks like. And also it'll show you where to put the barcode.
Okay.
So it's not in the app right now. We're waiting on Albertsons, but that'll be in there soon, which should help tremendously. Yeah, besides that, I think that's pretty much everything. I can show you what this checklist looks real quick. So this is why we want to be taking some good photos, because the checklist is actually going to show them for like the roof and the interior and stuff.
Gotcha.
So the more pictures, the better, because they'll like fill this whole line here. If it just looks better with more pictures. And this is something that's auto-generated from your store data, and it's automatically uploaded to ACgo once you click the OK button. This reminds me, if you only uploaded data and you needed like a better internet connection to upload photos or something, all you do is you click re-upload, and you can upload your photos here. You can upload your checklist, and it'll also tell you which ones you've completed already.
Okay.
Yeah. In the future, we will have an automatic FileMaker file upload as well. It'll just be the last step, and it'll upload that so we have a copy. But that's not in there right now. And just so you're aware, people have been saying it takes about 40 minutes for the photos and assets to upload. That's because the photos are really high resolution. So just an FYI, once you're done on site, especially with hotel internet, just plug in and let it sit there for like 40 minutes so it uploads everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, awesome. This training went by really fast. I'm going to post this for future people who need training. Okay. If there's anything you need, please feel free to reach out. We have the Teams chat. Right. We also have just like email, and I think there's some tools inside the app too, the training documents and whatnot that you could reach out and grab those for help. But if you need anything app related, please let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be available.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.